Education and the National Union of Ghana Students NUGS and the Private University Student Association have expressed concern over a proposal from government to the 20% corporate tax on private universities in Ghana. My colleague Nane Krasari spoke to the leadership of the student body early on today.
Officer of a Private University Student Association of Ghana, Michael Smiler, and Louisa Atajiman, who is also the General Secretary of the National Union of Ghana Students. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. They are raising some concerns with regard to the proposal of the 20% taxes for private universities. I'll start with you, Michael. Now, you would agree with me that government is trying to or making efforts to widen the tax net in efforts to stabilize our economies, and there's no doubt private universities make profits. Why do you say that they're not a private making entity?
Looking at it from a different point of view, all right, if you consider the private universities here in Ghana, by the status quo, they are being registered by guarantee, and for that matter, in that sense, they are not supposed to be taxed, okay? And the private universities here in Ghana, most of them are affiliated to public universities, in which annually they pay affiliation fees to these public universities. At the same time, they pay affiliation fees to the National Accreditation Board. Aside that too, they make several commitments as to how best they're able to manage their institutions very well. So in that sense, if government is trying to impose this tax on them, look at the enormity in which it's going to create in terms of the education of the Ghanaian students at the tertiary level, the kind of provision of quality education. Because the thing is, whatever be the case, the effect wouldn't be just on the institution, but we, the students in the private universities. So this particularly what we are trying to look at, not just the sake of government trying to kind of make revenue from taxing private universities.
Now, Michael, you would agree with me that it's not the students who are paying. And Louisa, I'll come back to you, Michael. Louisa, let me just find out from you. Have you confirmed from officials of these private universities that they wouldn't be able to pay the 20% taxes?
Yes, we have confirmed that. This has become a very big blow to them, because it means that they would have to also charge the student so that they can get back whatever they will put in with the taxes that is being imposed on them now. So it is some kind of a big blow to them, because this is going to affect the student directly. Students will continue to cry for help, and so they keep on complaining to us concerning this issue.
But I don't know how long it has taken. In recent times, do you think it would be justifiable to adjust fees just because this 20% tax proposal is on board?
Yes.
They will just take advantage of that.
It is very justifiable. The reason is that we are in this country whereby even when you talk about our transportation, I mean, the moment fuel, there is an increment, slight increment in the petroleum, you realize that the whole thing, the whole system changed, and people are not even able to afford their transportation fare. So when you look at the situation now, it means that if you increase anything by even 1%, everything will change. The whole system would have to be changed, because it will affect the institution.
Michael, you would agree also that we've had some private universities which have been in existence for 10 to 20 years. So why should the government not tax them on the profits they are making now? You're saying some are just coming out, but the ones which have been in existence, what are your concerns?
No, you see, most of them have been in existence for more than 10 years or so, and that's very true. But looking at these private universities, how many of them are fully accredited? Let's say that just about 2 of them or so, all right? But the rest are affiliated to public universities, and you realize that still, government is not trying as much as it can to support private universities in Ghana. But looking at it, you see, the issue here is, why should government go ahead to tax private universities at this present moment, whereby we are having 2 streams of senior high school students who are trying to make entries into the universities, whereby government is planning, as part of its campaign message, to establish more senior high schools and also they're saying that this year alone, they are going to establish 50 senior high schools. So we realize that there's going to be a huge burden as to students who want to make entries into the universities. But how best will government be able to ensure that by its constitutional mandate, providing education for all Ghanaians, in which is the rights of every Ghanaian, government go ahead to establish all those things. So we realize that this is a time that government must come to support private universities, but not impose tax on them.
And joining me on the line to react to this concern is Deputy Minister of Education Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa. Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Okudzeto-Ablakwa, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, first of all, how would government react to these concerns by the private universities, the proposed 20% tax on private universities?
Well, thank you very much. This is a matter came to our attention when the Conference of Heads of Private Universities issued a statement sometime last week. What we have indicated is that this is not a new tax. All the government is saying is that when you have made profit and you are going to share the profit amongst your shareholders as dividends, then you should pay corporate tax on those profits. However, if you are plowing back the profit, say you are going to construct new facilities, be they academic facilities or residential facilities, then you will not pay it. So we ought to be clarifying this matter, and we hope that the student unions understand government's position. So it is not a compulsory, if you like, just a blanket arrangement. We are saying that once you are sharing the profit as dividends amongst your shareholders, then you should pay tax on it. However, if you are plowing back, if you are going to invest the profits in facilities, because government is committed to education, and we want to encourage our private universities to continue to expand, we are not going to tax on profits that will be plowing back. So that is the issue which has to be understood.
Another concern also raised by the student leadership was that they are not enthused about this, and they want government rather to tax other sectors instead of educational institutions.
It is important to make the point very forcefully that government is already supporting private universities, since this discussion concerns private universities, in many ways. On a daily basis, we are approving tax exemptions for laboratory equipment, for building materials coming in, for textbooks coming in. I mean, many kinds of tax exemptions are granted private universities. So the impression should not be created that that government is not supporting private universities. And we all know that private universities in Ghana are playing an important role. But we also know that some are going in also as business to make profit. And there is nothing wrong when government says that just pay a little bit on the profit you are making, so that government can continue to provide the electricity that you need to run your university, the water that you need to run your university, the good roads that you want for your students to be able on, and lecturers to be able to drive on to come for lectures. Because government also provides amenities. It's not as if the universities are operating in isolation. They are operating within an environment, and government must make sure that that environment is congenial, that we have good amenities to support the services that private universities are granting.
Another issue that has also come up is the increment in school fees in most public universities, and student leadership have also raised some concerns about this, and they want government to intervene. Is government going to intervene in this matter?
I did meet the leadership of the National Union of Ghana Students, and they raised this issue. We had fruitful discussions. We made a point that government does not fix fees for students. It is the universities who determine these two. There was a particular issue with the University of Ghana, and I think that the authorities at the University of Ghana have addressed that issue by saying that students can pay a part payment of the 100 cedi levy which they were charging. And I think that the student union ought to be commended for making some progress in that matter. We did indicate that it is important for the student bodies to engage with Vice Chancellors Ghana since they are concerned about this matter, rather than wanting government to step in. The system does not operate that way. Government can only come in to have discussions as a last resort. So we are asking the student unions to continue to engage with the authorities. But on our part, we are seeking to strengthen the student loan trust so that we can make more student loans and scholarships available for students who really are needy, find themselves in needy situations and need support from government. That's what we are doing at our level.
Thank you very much. We have been speaking with Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. He is the Deputy Minister of Education.